Belfast, early 1970s. The city no longer hides what it has become. British Army vehicles move slowly through narrow streets, engines low and constant, metal grinding against broken road. Soldiers sit inside, faces hard, rifles angled toward the pavement. They do not rush. They do not need to. Their presence is enough. Overhead, helicopters circle, cutting through the sky in wide loops. The sound never fully disappears. It fades, then returns, always close enough to remind people it is there. At night, the rhythm changes. Doors are forced open without warning. Boots on stairs, flashlights cutting through dark rooms, names shouted into hallways. Men are taken outside, hands against walls, searched under the glare of headlights. Some are arrested, others are left behind, shaken, silent. By morning, the streets reset, shops reopen, buses run, people move through the same routines, but nothing feels the same. Conversations are shorter now, voices stay low, faces become familiar too quickly, and unfamiliar faces stand out immediately. In West Belfast, the line is already drawn. Freddie Scappaticci moves through this environment without drawing attention. He works as a butcher, keeps his routine steady, speaks only when needed. But he watches. He listens. He notices who changes their habits, who avoids certain streets, who speaks too freely. The violence is no longer distant. A car bomb detonates in the city centre. The blast tears through buildings, sending glass and debris across the street. Smoke rises fast and thick, blocking out the sky. Sirens follow within seconds, then more, overlapping, filling the air. Crowds gather at a distance. No one moves too close. Later, gunfire breaks out in a residential street. Short bursts, controlled, then silence. Windows stay closed. Curtains do not move. When it ends, the road is sealed off. By morning, people walk past as if nothing has happened. The pattern repeats. Bomb, sirens, silence, gunfire, sirens, silence. Each time, the reaction is quicker, quieter. The city adjusts. Freddie continues his routine, but it no longer exists on its own. Everything connects now. Every movement, every conversation, every face carries weight. The approach comes without warning. One evening, as he walks home, a man falls into step beside him. There is no greeting, no introduction, just questions asked calmly, as if they are already part of an ongoing conversation about the area, about people, about what Freddie has seen. The answers are controlled, nothing offered that could not already be known, nothing that creates risk. The man listens. At the end of the street, they stop. There is a pause, long enough to matter. Then the question changes. It is not direct, but it is clear. Freddie understands what is being asked. He gives a small nod, nothing more. The man steps away and disappears without looking back. From that moment, the routine shifts. Freddie is drawn into the Provisional IRA, not through ceremony, but through connection. Meetings take place in private houses, back rooms, places that do not attract attention. Names are given slowly, faces introduced one at a time. Roles are not explained all at once. You understand your position by doing the work. The tasks begin small. Carrying messages, passing information, watching who comes and goes from certain streets, learning who belongs and who does not, but the structure reveals itself gradually. Cells connected to other cells. Orders moving through people who never see the full picture. Each part controlled, limited, contained. Trust is not given easily, and once given, it is expected to hold. Outside, the violence intensifies. Another explosion hits a commercial area, louder this time, closer. The shockwave travels through nearby streets, rattling windows, setting off alarms that continue long after the blast. Gunfire follows in the days after. Retaliation, then more retaliation. The pattern is no longer random. It is constant. Inside the organisation, the focus sharpens. Information becomes more valuable than action. Knowing what is happening before it happens becomes the priority. Movements are planned carefully. Timing is controlled. Nothing is left to chance if it can be avoided, but things begin to go wrong. A planned operation is disrupted before it begins. Arrests happen too quickly. Raids arrive at the right place at the right time. It happens once, then again and again. The conclusion forms quickly. Someone is talking. The response is immediate. Find the source. Remove it. Freddie is brought closer to that process, not just observing, but involved. He is trusted to notice details others might miss, to identify what does not fit, to act when decisions are made. The work shifts from the streets to the rooms behind them. The war continues outside, but inside something else is taking shape. A quieter conflict, more controlled and far more dangerous. The war does not slow, it sharpens. Explosions become part of the rhythm of the city. A car left in the wrong place is no longer ignored. People notice it, avoid it, move around it without breaking stride. Then it detonates, tearing through the street with force that lifts metal and glass into the air. The shockwave travels through nearby buildings, shaking windows, setting off alarms that continue long after the smoke rises. By the time the sirens arrive, the damage is already done. Elsewhere, gunfire breaks out without warning. Short bursts in alleyways, controlled shots from passing cars, targets are hit quickly, then the shooters are gone before anyone can react. The street empties, then slowly fills again, as if nothing has happened. Retaliation follows, then more retaliation. The pattern feeds itself. Inside the Provisional IRA, the response is not chaotic. It is organised, controlled, and increasingly focused on one problem. Information is leaking. Operations are being compromised before they begin. Arms dumps are discovered. Safe houses are raided. Arrests happen with precision that cannot be explained by chance. Someone is talking. The internal security unit takes over. Its purpose is simple. Find informers, confirm them, remove them. Freddie Scappaticci is now central to this work. The rooms are hidden inside ordinary houses, curtains drawn tight, lights kept low. Nothing about the outside suggests what happens inside. People are brought in quietly, one at a time, usually at night. A car arrives. A door opens. The person disappears inside. Questions begin immediately. Names, places, movements, the same details repeated, approached from different angles. There is no rush. Time is used carefully, stretched until something breaks. At first there is denial, then hesitation, then cracks begin to show. The process tightens. Voices remain controlled, but the pressure increases. Silence is held longer. Answers are challenged more directly. Every inconsistency is pushed, examined, turned over until it cannot hold. Freddie watches closely. He notes what is said, but also what is avoided. Patterns form quickly, small details that do not align. It is enough. The decision is made without announcement. The person is removed. By morning, they are gone. The word spreads quietly. Informer. It attaches to the name and does not leave. The work repeats, not constantly but often enough to become routine. Each case reinforces the next. Each removal strengthens the system that allows it to continue. Outside, the violence escalates further. A bomb detonates in a crowded area, louder than the ones before. Smoke fills the street. People run, then stop, unsure where to go. Emergency vehicles force their way through, pushing past crowds that do not move fast enough. Later, a targeted shooting takes place in broad daylight. The gunman steps out, fires at close range, then disappears into a waiting car. The entire sequence lasts seconds. The message is clear. No one is out of reach. Inside the organisation, the pressure continues to build. More interrogations, more removals, more certainty that the system must be working. but it is not. Operations continue to fail, arrests continue to happen too quickly, the leaks do not stop, which means one thing: the source has not been found. Beyond the IRA, British intelligence is working in parallel: surveillance, informers, intercepted communications, but none of it provides full access. To understand the organisation, they need someone inside it, someone positioned close enough to see everything, not at the edges, at the centre. The name given to that source begins to circulate quietly: Stakeknife. It appears in reports, in briefings, in conversations that do not leave the room. The information linked to it is detailed and precise. It arrives in time to act on, too precise to ignore. Inside the IRA, the contradiction begins to take shape. The man responsible for finding informers may be the one providing information. Freddie Scappaticci remains in position. He attends interrogations. He helps identify suspects. He is trusted to make decisions that carry final consequences. Nothing about his role changes. If anything, it strengthens. And that is what makes the situation impossible to resolve. Because if the source is as close as it appears, then the system designed to eliminate informers has been working alongside one without knowing it. Or worse, while knowing it and allowing it to continue. The balance shifts. Some operations are stopped before they happen, others are not. Some individuals are removed quickly, others are left in place. The pattern is uneven, but it holds. Inside the rooms, the work continues. People are brought in. Questions are asked. Decisions are made. Outside, the war carries on, but now there is something else inside it. A second conflict, hidden, and far more dangerous than the first. The war slows. Not suddenly, not cleanly, but enough that the noise begins to fade. The helicopters are heard less often. Patrols pull back. The streets open up again, cautiously at first, then more freely. But what happened during those years does not disappear with it. It waits. Then it starts to surface. Stories move through the same streets that once carried silence. Names are spoken more openly now. Accounts of what happened behind closed doors begin to emerge. Interrogations, removals, people taken and never returned. The word informer is no longer enough on its own. People start asking who decided and how. The name Stakeknife appears outside the rooms where it once stayed hidden. It is reported, discussed, denied. But it does not go away. The suggestion becomes clear. The agent was not on the edges of the organisation. He was at the centre. The man responsible for identifying informers may have been the most valuable one. The name linked to that claim is Freddie Scappaticci. He denies it completely. No admission, no shift in position, the same response every time it is raised. But the damage is already done. Families begin to come forward, men taken from their homes years earlier, sons, brothers, fathers who disappeared without explanation, cases where the label informer was attached and the outcome followed without appeal. Some bodies are found, others are not. The details are incomplete. Records are missing. Decisions were never written down. But the pattern is there. If an agent was operating at that level, then some of those deaths may have happened while protecting that position. The calculation becomes impossible to ignore. Information from inside the organisation allowed attacks to be stopped, arrests to be made, lives to be saved, but not all of them. Some were allowed to happen. Some names were not acted on. Some outcomes were left to unfold. The reason sits behind everything. Protect the source. Maintain access. Do not expose the position. The balance holds, but it is uneven. Investigations begin, files are opened, examined, then closed again. Reports are written, challenged, rewritten. No single version of events settles the question. Too much is missing. Too much was never recorded. Freddie Scappaticci does not step forward. He disappears instead. Removed from public view, placed under protection. A new identity, a different location, Distance from the streets where his name once carried weight. Witness protection. The system that once may have used him now keeps him hidden, alive, but silent. Years pass. The conflict fades further into history, but the questions remain. They do not resolve. They do not settle into a clear narrative. They stay where they have always been, between what is claimed and what can be proven. Freddie Scappaticci lives out the rest of his life in that space. No confirmation, no closure, only the constant link between his name and the role he denies. In 2023, he dies, quietly, away from the streets where everything began. There is no final statement that changes anything, no new evidence that settles the question. The same uncertainty remains in place. If he was Stakeknife, the full extent of it is not publicly known. If he was not, the reason for the accusation is never fully explained. What remains is the cost. A war fought in the open and another fought in secret. A system built to find informers and another built to use them. And at the centre of both, a man who never steps out of the shadow, cast by either side. The violence ends. The silence does not.